And we are back for another episode of Midweek Point and Click, episode 4 of Broken Swords. Steve, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Excellent. How you been? What's
Not
new?
too bad.
What's going
new?
on? Yeah.
So I had a bit of feedback then. Not much. Yeah, not much at all. Started playing Alien Isolation again.
Excellent. That's a scary game that I'm not willing to play because it is too scary for me.
That's not. If you get into it, suddenly the problem with the game is like I replaying it because I absolutely love the art style and love the writing. If you play it enough, you suddenly realize how much of a game object the alien is, and that'll break any thing of it being scary. Once you realize it warps every time it gets into a van, and it constantly knows where you are because it always tracks you, so it constantly knows where you are in a 5 meter radius, but never knows where you are. It's this weird dichotomy. It breaks it enough. But I love the immersion is really good in terms of looking like a divisional alien.
Awesome. Maybe I'll have to try it during Spooktober, which is, scary games for the month, Halloween and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I've played the start of it and I never even got to the alien and I got scared. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. We have a psycho.
I've gotten up to the point where I have ejected the alien and it's on its way into a gas giant.
Oh, excellent.
So F that alien. But now I'm dealing with androids going berserk. And then after that, more aliens do appear.
More aliens appear? Jesus.
Yeah, it doesn't stay as one alien.
Wow, okay.
Initially, there's a second one. It's like, there were 2 of them. And at one stage, there's like 5 or 6 of them at once.
Is there a scenario... Now, this is mild spoiler warning for anyone that's ever played the game. I've never played the game, so it's a spoiler for me, but I want to know, is there a scenario where you're ever walking through a room that's filled with eggs, and then they start slowly opening?
I don't think so.
Missed opportunity.
I'm trying to remember it, though. I've recollections of that, but I think I'm thinking of Colonial Marines. I know there's one creepy bit. That's maybe one of the decent parts of Colonial Marines is... It's kind of scary doing that. Okay. Yeah, vague recollections, because I know that because the thing because there's like one of them tracking you through the station at the start. At one stage, you do find that there's an area where they are doing the full life cycle of face huggers and
chest bursters,
all that jazz. But I forget if you have to walk through it. I don't think you do.
Oh man,
you might have to because
if I had the courage to actually play the game and that scene came up, then I'd check out there as well. Like, there's all these, I guess, checkpoints where I'd just hightail it.
Yeah. I've come past one of the set pieces. One of the bits I remember as being really, really good, because it just breaks your mind for a little bit, is this thing's tracking you. They've attempted multiple times to trap it, and it's gotten out of last trap. And this is after you've been purposely going into its area so you can shut doors permanently. To try to get it trapped in an area. Finally, the guy goes, okay, one more last plan, get into this science module. So it's this subsidiary of the main company. So this module is kind of hanging off the station. You get into it and you're pressing, you've got to get to 2 rooms and power everything up. And he goes, okay, now do that and get out of here. So you power it up, and then as you're walking out, once you get to the door, you just hear him say, I'm sorry, Ripley. And the door closes, and then it cuts to a cutscene. She runs up to the window and starts going, what the hell's going on? And then suddenly there's this bang as the thing's jettisoned. So that's the thing that heads towards the gas giant. But there's this moment of the whole world just starts spinning because you're on the thing that's ejected away from the station that's spinning, but to your perspective, the world just starts spinning around you. And it just breaks your mind for a second. It was kind of really cool.
It's that vertigo feeling I was talking about last time. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll give that a shot again. I've got it. Just need to install it. Find that courage. Okay.
I don't know if it's good to stream either because it's very stretched out. So that's the thing I didn't start playing until I sort of remember. But like a lot of the game is just figuring out how to open the next door. And for that reason, it might not be the best streaming game. But yeah, I don't know.
Ah, Tongs, luckily I don't have VR, so I can't do such things. Plus, that's the savior in my heart. I'd probably die a second time. Okay, so I'm going to do the recap of the game. My turn this time. Here's what we did. Young George Stobart decided to leave Nico of France to venture into the wilderness, the highlands, not highlands, off to Ireland anyway. There, we were looking for a particular gem, as noted on the Templar manuscript. And we had an idea of where it might be in this castle that was supposedly haunted. We found out that the castle was not haunted. It was just a dude that fell off a wall and landed on his head. In order to get into the castle, though, we needed a few things. We needed to get down into the cellar because... Okay, so there was a guy that had the gem on him. We spooked him by saying, hey, I'm a blah, blah, blah. And he ran out the door and got hit by a car. The car was being driven by none other than Merlin, who's the bad guy in this game. He was dressed as a leprechaun, or as they said, a pixie. And as he got hit, the gem flew in the air and went down the drain into the bottom of the pub. In order to get into the pub, though, down into the cellar, we had to speak with the bartender and pretend that we're an electrician to try and fix his shit to allow us to go down there and fix his pumps. But when we went down there, it was dark. Thankfully, we knew that there was a lever. We could open up the grate. The sun came down. Everything was beautiful. We could see in there. And then we got stuck on a puzzle due to my stupidity of forgetting that left click actually does something in the game. And I didn't know how to turn on the tap or force it. So after a lot of running around and back and forth from the castle to the pub, we figured out that you could just turn on the tap, soak up the... it was basically a old rag or a beer mat, and then take it to the castle, use a bit of plaster of Paris, create a cool key, open up a door. Basically where we're at now, though, is we're back in France, and I think maybe we might get a flashback or something, because George mentions that he was asleep in a cell with a dead man, and we don't know any of that, so here's hoping.
But the thing that did sort of force us down the wrong route with the sink was also they kind of went out of their way to mention that the sink is rusty, or the faucet is rusty.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're thinking of anti-rust solutions as opposed to just turning it on.
Exactly. That was embarrassing, but you know, it happens. So, rule of thumb, if we're stuck, just remind me in chat to say, hey, try left clicking on it because I will forget. I'm ready to continue. I have my coffee, and there is alcohol in this coffee because, you know, we were in
Ireland. Yeah, Irish coffee.
Exactly. There's one shot of Bailey's, chocolate Bailey's, mind you. So I'm good to go. Are you good to go, Steve?
Yep.
All right. You've got the Discord. You can see everything. You're all good.
Yep.
Awesome. You may have noticed as well, guys. I've changed one of the old emotes out for a new Dr. PP emote. That's always fun. Oh, I thought we were George. I guess we're not George.
Yeah, but we heard for the last bit because it was the last.
Oh, maybe there's an
I
auto
forgot
save.
what we did was her.
We have to listen to this again. Oh, there's key change as well. I forgot about that. That's another emote. Yep.
You have no messages.
I also reduced the price of all my sound alerts because they weren't really getting played other than Artie Fine. He is like the master of sound alerting. So they're all like 20 bits now or something like that. If you feel inclined, it's up to you.
I had no reason to go out into the night.
Maybe we have to call George and then he comes in. I was sure we were George. And we... Oh, hang on.
There wasn't anyone that I needed
Apartment
to...
does have... I did notice last time... Something I was thinking of... The apartment is this weird mixture, because... It's a studio apartment, because her... Technically...
There we go. For some reason it loaded a different save.
Okay. It's a studio apartment technically, because her bed is in the living area. But then it's the biggest studio apartment I think I've ever seen. Like, it's extremely roomy. While still technically being a studio apartment.
actually, let's quickly... Can we go to the airport again and go back to... Nah, it's grayed out. Okay, good. All right, let's see. What do we have? We have the cafe. That one's grayed out, whatever that is. We have Musée Clune. We have Poste de Police. We have Rougerie.
The Ruse Croon pin is around about where I stayed when I visited Paris.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I don't remember where I stayed in Paris. I just remember, that we came here and saved it. I remember on every single street corner, and this happens with most countries, right? They'll have a particular thing that's everywhere. In Paris, it was pharmacies. Big green, usually it's a Red Cross for, like health and pharmacies. But big neon green lights on every single corner for going into a pharmacy.
Yeah, I remember that. There's like a particular conglomerate that seemed to own all the pharmacies in Europe. Because it wasn't just Paris. I noticed that the one company with the green cross like everywhere.
All right, let's go to the police station. Haven't been here in a while.
It was just some police paperwork, a search warrant. Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
There's the first audio quality problem. Let's give him some plaster of Paris, because we're in Paris. Ha! Let's go.
That is not a good idea.
I think I've ever heard of Plaster of Paris before this game.
Oh.
Did I show you this
A
photograph,
100%
Sergeant?
certified got him.
Are you sure you don't want this false nose?
Don't try my patience, monsieur.
He doesn't need a false nose. He barely fit inside it.
That's true. Have you ever had a croque monsieur before?
Yeah.
Delicious. Have you guys in chat had a croque monsieur?
Do you
I
recognize
remember having it
this
because I
dirty
heard it on
tissue?
the
I told you, no, monsieur.
the that old Vic Gervais radio show, the XFM show. And I used to listen to those, and there's a bit where Stephen Merchant's berating him because he had a weight problem at the prime time, and he goes, "Saw you this morning eating just like a ham and cheese toasty with that was just overflowing," and he goes, and then Vic Gervais goes, "You've made it full of yourself. It's a crème monsieur, whatever however you pronounce it." I think Vic Gervais pronounced it wrong because he did it differently than you just did, but he goes, "It's French, so it's classy." And yeah, Steve Merchant's guy, it was just cheese with grease streaming off it and ham and toast.
So, what it actually is, it's got bechamel sauce inside, along with the ham and cheese. It's delicious.
Okay.
Would you like to shake my hand, Sergeant?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur. The gesture could be misconstrued.
When he's off duty, first thing we're going to do, we're going to slap hands with him.
Did I show you my tools,
I think
Sergeant?
that's an excuse. I
monsieur.
don't think you'll want to shake our hands.
Unfortunately, you did.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you, Sergeant?
That's a double-lined Swedish with a crosshatch Bergman strike strip. Now, that's unusual. Pre-war Anderson hinging.
Really?
I haven't seen a reinforced Anderson outside of a private collection.
It's rare then?
In this part of the world, yes. There are only 3 places these are made.
Wow.
Taiwan, Manila, and Slough.
There you go.
That was spelled. Taiwan was spelt with. Is that a particular place or is that the country? Because the country doesn't have a hyphen.
It may have been... Maybe it's a
Translation or
translation
something.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not a good idea. Maybe not.
All right.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
I took Greek class in primary school, and the thing they taught us was how to order yo-yo. I think it was multiple things, but I picked a yo-yo, and yeah, so that we could go down to the Greek deli and like all the school kids, and we go up to the guy who was also Greek and order a pastry in Greek. So yeah, I learned how to order a yo-yo.
nice. For those that are not in the no, a yo-yo is like kind of like a shortbread biscuit, but with a bit of cream in the middle.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the avenue des Hérissons.
Yeah, they're not too bad. I think I like yo-yos better than shortbreads because it adds a little bit of moisture.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lawns.
Oh, yeah. Before I forget. So, after we finish Broken Sword, the next game will definitely be the new Monkey Island game. It's best to get it out, like, because we're still fresh on Monkey Island 2. Best to go into it while we're fresh.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving.
Sit,
went through my
Ubu, sit.
pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
Do you remember... I'm trying to remember now. Roger Rabbit, right? Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Combination of cartoon and, real life.
Yeah.
Were there goons in that were kind of like these two guys, like a gorilla and a weasel?
Nah, well, the Weasel gangsters. Yeah, there was like a group of the bad guy, the villain had these gangsters he would send out, and they had like the zoot suit type things, but they were all weasels. I don't remember
Okay.
I think there was a gorilla as like the bouncer of a club,
Mm-hmm.
but not like that pairing of a weasel and a gorilla.
That makes sense then.
See you later, Sergeant.
Okay.
I'm seeing something that I don't mind watching some of the VFX things if they are educational, but like someone said that like the advent of CGI has made the VFX breakdown stuff absolutely boring because it's just the wipes of something being simple and then complicated as opposed to their example was Roger Rabbit, where it's like you have the behind the scenes and almost every bit of Roger Rabbit is crazy. Like their example was they built a diner like 7 feet off the ground so the puppeteers could go underneath and manipulate things with sticks. And then they go, because you could have the cartoon penguin holding a cartoon plate of food, but no, you have to have the cartoon penguin holding a real plate of food and then do this really difficult method to get him to be able to manipulate that. So you've got puppeteers with rods moving the plate and and it's just crazy. And then CGI is just so bland compared to that. It's all the same thing and there's no real big wow thing.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that the cartoons actually interacted with real world objects. That's cool.
Yeah, because there's a big ways like the Danny DeVito, was it? No, it was
Bob Hoskins.
the British actor Bob Hoskins grabs him and puts him in his coat. And that's what I remember when I was a kid. Like that thing later day I'd found out about the stage, but the thing of the kid is they had this computerized thing that would push against his turncoat in order to show the Roger Rabbit trying to get out. But it was all coordinated in such a way. So you still have a puppeteer that's sending signals. Either that or they did it via timing because they still need to, like if they show Roger Rabbit coming out of one collar, they've got to show the bump on the bottom on the other side to show that he's pushing off. Like it starts to be coordinated. It's not just we'll make the coat move a little bit and work it out when the people animate it. It's like you got to figure out what's actually happening. It's all coordinated and it's all very clever. Movie magic. There's sort of much less of that.
I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked.
But I have a tool. Guess not. But I have a wet tissue.
amount of time he's been holding that tool, I hope it is used for something.
Oh, the tool. Hang
Yeah.
on, I thought I used the tool as a stepping stone to get into the castle. I guess I must need it again.
Oh, we have used it.
I really like that chime sound.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
Quickly do it all just to be safe. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention about the goat as well. We actually met the infamous goat and immediately made it so it couldn't attack us by shifting some sort of sharp thing that tangled up its rope.
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't mention at the time, but ages ago when we were hearing that random goat sound effect, like I tried to look up what it was, and it's like, oh, it's probably glitched. It probably is from that goat. It's just switched the sound effects, but when I was looking at it, there was like there was references to, because it was coming up in search, the infamous goat puzzle, and people being stuck on the goat. And so I was worried when I saw it. I've kind of, oh shit, this is going to be the bit, like, which of course we could go back to the walkthrough if we got too stuck. But I've gone, oh shit. And then you just did it straight away. It's like, quickly tied it up and there was no problem after that. And it's like,
It wasn't even a puzzle. I just moved over to the other side and...
So I think other people must have had a Rusty Fawcett moment with the goat instead of the Rusty Fawcett.
The Rusty Fawcett will from now on be the term for a puzzle that is, like, we're the problem, not the puzzle.
You skipped a simple solution and...
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Really? If you wish to make an appointment, see the receptionist.
Does this white powder mean anything to you?
No, sir. I do not pretend to know the pharmacist's job.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, sir. I do not.
It should play Steve saying, what if you left click?
Do you recognize this red nose, sir?
No, I do not.
Oh,
This is a hospital, not a circus ring. We minister to the sick in body, not the sick in mind.
here we go.
There must be a stinger from some sort of movie we could use, maybe, of just don't overcomplicate it or clear your mind and just, or something like that, maybe.
What do you make of this tissue, sir?
If I were you, I'd have the sample analyzed.
May I have the honor of shaking you by the hand?
You may not. I don't encourage physical contact between my staff.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
Sacre bleu! That's exactly what I needed in my last operation.
It is?
I had to improvise with a knitting needle and a couple of corks. If only you'd been on hand at the time. My patient would have given his right arm for it.
They're
you
really
ever heard of
funny
the Club
or
Alibi?
very dodgy.
No, sir. I have not.
Who's really funny or dodgy?
The Doctor is either really funny or incredibly dodgy.
He's like
Whole
this,
spiel about improvising and possibly needing a Sura uncover in his next operation.
Nick
The last
Riviera.
operation. Yeah.
Does the name Thomas Merlin mean anything to you?
No, it does not.
And if you want to call
Look at this, Doc.
Nick Riviera,
Genuine
it's
medieval
1-800
type
Doc Dorb.
Yes, so I see. Remarkable.
I have to take this gem to Marquet. He might be able to explain its significance.
My dear chap, Marquet has other things on his mind right now.
Like what?
His catheter, for one.
I'm looking for a guy named Jacques Marquet.
In which department does he work?
He doesn't.
A 100% certified got him.
You do realize there are strict policies regarding visiting hours, don't you?
This is important. I have to talk to Marquet urgently.
We make no exceptions to the rules.
It's a matter of life and death.
The well-oiled running of this hospital is a matter of life and death. That's why we have rules.
I just realize it's weird that a doctor is the one that's greeting visitors.
Yeah, he did say, wow, you know what's even more weird? Look at the receptionist. You come into the hospital, you mosey around here, and you look, and you're facing straight at her back.
I think I ought to warn you that Marquet is not what he seems.
Explain yourself.
He's in league with a bunch of guys who want to take over the world.
Nonsense. Besides, Marquet's employers have paid in advance for one of our most exclusive private rooms.
1 second, I'm just going to
Yeah,
take my
'cause it's
jump roll and
also-
cook 'em. Keep going, Steve.
It's also she's got that desk there, but then the desk must wrap around. So it wraps around so that she could explicitly face away.
All right, I'm back. We're gonna have to. What? We know that this guy is a bad guy. George just said it, but why is he in hospital? I forget.
Yeah, I've forgotten that too. But he was the one. Well, he's the. So he's the villain? Is he? Or was he the one?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me who Marquet's employers are?
Certainly not.
Wait, he wasn't the guy. No, it wasn't the guy in the bomb blast. That was someone else.
Yeah, except I got killed.
Thanks for your help.
I'm not sure. She's gonna like my tissue.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir?
is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plans. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
Well, I just wanted to show you this dirty tissue. Tell me what you think.
Can you think of any use for this greasy tissue?
I guess you could use it to baste a roast turkey.
What?
Yuck.
That's
Is
I don't
this
even
plaster any
understand.
use to you?
I'm allergic to plaster.
Have you ever seen that movie, Don't Breathe?
No.
There's a turkey base they used in that movie in the similar way that tissue is. So that's pretty gross.
Ah, okay.
Have you seen this man here at the clinic?
No, sir.
I was about to ask if it was
and
that movie
I
we
never
watched.
forget a face.
Which movie did we
Chris-
watch?
The Kristen Stewart one. But that was underwater or something.
What does this false nose remind you of?
Oh, it's a clown's nose.
Whatever we have to dress up as a clown now to get upstairs.
I'd like to shake
Try
you
and be
by
like
the
a
hand.
Patch Adams.
Don't be fresh, young man.
What does this tool suggest to you?
Is it a crack detector?
Huh?
Polar explorers use them to poke about in the snow.
Oh no. Have you heard of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds romantic, doesn't it?
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see.
Hell yeah.
He was on Ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on Ward J2. That's Nurse Grendel's ward.
I thought she was going to say the doctor behind us is Ward.
What does this
Like,
gem suggest to you?
That's
I advise you
insinuation
not
being
to
he's a dead
flash
man.
that around.
What if he is a nurse, not a doctor?
We talked about operating on someone.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
I imagine like Beulah from Porky's.
Beulah, which one's
If
that
Nurse
one?
Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities
Oh,
tolerate it?
She's
that's
like
the
part of the furniture.
I was
like
beginning to get the
sports
picture.
teacher.
This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J.
Well, actually, she'd be envious, not jealous.
How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Alright,
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
let's quickly save it, because we should always save it. Executive sauna.
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
When I read executive bathroom, I just think of the first Robocop.
I thought that was the goat sound again, but it was just tongues.
Hello.
And like people out
What's
alphaing each
that?
other.
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Got him.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know
Judging
what?
by his eyes, I think the
If you
secret is
start
weed.
whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
Jesus!
It's a deal.
It's like, oh, life, you just gotta put some sunshine into life. And he's like, I'm gonna bust you in the fucking mouth.
Do you recognize this powder?
Is that dandruff?
Ew.
No way.
It sure looks like dandruff.
It's plaster.
Ugh.
If he thinks that's dandruff, just wait till he sees my tissue.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
You have a cold. What you need is vitamin C.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Who is it?
That's what I'm asking you. Have you seen him before?
How should I know? You haven't told me who he is.
Take a look at the photo.
Yeah, okay.
Now, have you seen him before?
No.
Thanks.
Take a look at this red nose.
Are you a policeman?
No, this is a clown's nose, not a policeman's.
What the?
What?
Is he just the patient that's escaped and he's just seen the floor
Yeah.
waxer and is like, I'm going to give this a go? Speaking of, I noticed that there's a little power
Yeah,
plug over there.
it's like patient number 12 is much more quieter if you just let him push the thing around,
Yeah.
like he's the janitor.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not until I've washed, if you don't mind, sir.
Hmm.
Yeah, that
Would
cable's
this
not
tool
plugged
be any
in.
use to you?
No, sir. Mr. Shiny has no user-serviceable parts.
Mr. Shiny.
Whatever that means.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
You should never, ever play with matches.
I know that, but
People get
Yep.
hurt when they do. They end up in hospital, like the burger lady. She was so burned up, they didn't know whether to use bandages or onions.
Okay.
do you recognize this pass?
No, I don't. Should I?
But like
No,
the
but I
job's
wondered
done.
if you'd seen a
That one.
stranger flashing it about.
No, sir. But if I had, Mr. Shiny would take care of him.
What do you think of this, Sam?
Oh, boy. What is it?
A priceless gemstone found in a medieval castle in Ireland. Get me into Marquet's ward, and it's yours.
What?
I don't
Wait.
wear jewellery.
If
You haven't
this
consented
gem
to that?
was yours, you'd be able to buy 100 Mr. Shinies.
Don't be silly. There's only one Mr. Shiny.
What a weirdo.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the quarters?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
I'm hoping the gangsters come after us and he runs them over. He saves us by running them over with the polisher.
Yeah, maybe.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you?
Yes.
I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind me back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull-through.
I don't want to hear about it.
He likes Mr. Shiny because it allows him to shine something else. I'm not going to say on here because that's rude.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Okay, so I'm guessing I've got to go in this door here and he's going to tell me off. But then I'll run around here, pull this out, he'll go over here and then I'll...
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
No, it does work.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Oh, okay. So there's some goodies in there then.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Cop that, Mr. Shiny.
No Oxford comma though.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
If only you walked this way, you would have seen me in the act. Right, give me my cursor. I get there quick. Ah, now I'm a doctor. Oh, I look the part too.
Yeah.
Just need to start playing that How to Save a Life song.
You could probably do surgery better than that hack doctor from the entrance too.
For sure. Okay, there's a way here as well. I'll talk to him again. Ah, the...
Hello.
Oh, hi. No whistling, right?
Right. Are you having trouble with Mr. Shiny?
Yes, I am. I don't know what's got into him today. He keeps pulling his plug.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Okay. So we're this way and this way. Left or right, Steve? What are we going to do?
Left.
I guess one goes back to the hall.
There's the nurse.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Oh, hi. Is this Ward J2?
Yes, sir. The patients are ready for your inspection, doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
need this,
No.
doctor.
A clip it, and a stethoscope.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
What's
I
this?
think the way things are going, I think the other character might still be sleeping, crying herself to sleep every night.
Is this plaster any use to you?
No, it isn't.
But what if you need to wrap up somebody's arm or something?
Is this plaster any use to you?
No, it isn't.
Doesn't look grayed out.
Do you recognize the man in this
We
photograph?
might be losing
No,
our
I don't.
Yeah, why isn't it graying?
Do you recognize this red nose?
Oh dear. I don't think he'll be needing that again.
Who?
Monsieur Boissy, the comatose clown.
Hey, how about this tissue?
Do you recognize this tissue?
No, I don't. It looks like a chronic health risk to me.
Yeah, fair.
Well, I've been carrying it around for days and I'm okay. Would you like to shake hands with me?
Well,
No, it's okay. Forget it.
Oh.
Does this tool mean
It's the
anything to you?
closest we've got.
I don't recognize it.
Does this mean anything to you?
The Club Alamut? I've never heard of it.
Do you know Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No, I don't.
Ooh.
What is this device?
It's for taking the patient's blood pressure.
Oh, it's a
Doctor.
tourniquet.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
It's beautiful, but I've never seen it before.
He had to ask me what a blood pressure machine was.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
What if we put the nose on Mr. Boise and that wakes him up like the Kiss Sleeping Beauty?
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward.
Okay.
He has been placed in strict isolation.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Au revoir. Let's talk to Old Man Jones.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
Good call.
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it.
All you need is one dose of this soggy tissue.
Have you any idea what this is?
No, doctor. I wouldn't even like to guess.
Do you know what this is?
It looks like plaster.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer. Do you recognize this red nose?
Doesn't that belong to Boissy?
No. I found it in a sewer.
He's a clown, you know. You wouldn't think so to look at him now, would you?
Maybe we smear the tissue over Boissy's face and then put the nose on.
Maybe not.
And then shock his heart to wake him up, like Tong said.
Do you know what this tool is used for?
I'd rather not, doctor.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
I'm not really a nightclub man, doctor.
Have you heard of a guy called Merlin?
No, doctor.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job. Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
No, doctor.
What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room.
He sure
isn't
is.
he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
He reminds me of Charles Winchester from MASH a little bit.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
Lisa came home with snacks earlier, and one of the things that she brought home is these chips called turtle chips, I think they're called. But they're chocolate churro flavored. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
What's your impression of Nurse
It's not made
Brindle?
with real turtles.
She's a very efficient
They're a weird
young
shape,
woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
That's some service.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Tell me about it.
I'll come
Tell me,
back later.
tell me what kind of discipline she offers.
Oh, there's no... Hang on. There's a blue on him. No blue on him. No blue there.
I mean, I'm glad that only one
Pardon
of
me,
the patients
nurse.
is
Oui, monsieur.
interactable.
Thank you, nurse.
I just
Au
thought
revoir, monsieur.
with Wasi over here. Hang on. Where's the end of the hall then? This way?
Is it to the right? Yeah. I assumed there's definitely been more to there because we saw something.
Ardwood,
Looks like a
fine.
statue.
Robert of
Doctor,
the internet. Hope you're doing well.
What is it?
you haven't taken my blood pressure.
You did.
We did, and we did it wrong too.
There we go.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Got that.
Oh, Doctor,
What now?
you didn't finish taking my blood pressure.
Did you not listen? Maybe...
You have to figure out how to do blood pressure properly, I assume.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay.
Maybe talk to the doctor downstairs. He might go, oh yeah, this person needs you to do it like this. Like this.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing,
Put
do
it around
you?
his neck.
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Okay. Maybe... Yeah, we'll go down. I'll first talk to this lady. She might be able to tell me.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur.
Do you want this,
Device for measuring blood pressure?
Yeah, do you want it back?
No, thank you.
Okay. Let's go speak to your mate. Oh, now they're grayed out. Interesting.
Do you recognize this tissue?
No, I don't. It looks like a chronic health risk to me.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Okay. Oh, hang on. That's me, but not me.
Yeah, it's like a clone with different pants.
He's the Luigi to my Mario.
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir? Pleased
It
to
looks
meet
like,
you, sir.
oh,
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
I say he looks
Yeah,
like Clark
that's my
Kent,
name.
but then definitely
My
doesn't
name's
sound like
Benoit,
Clark Kent.
But everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Benoit.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit.
Aren't, like... Sorry to put on the filth bag hat for a second, Steve. I know it's your hat, but I'm just going to wear it for a second. Aren't Benoit balls like something real gross? Hats off back.
That's what, I don't know what they're... Actually, I know of Benoit Balls just from that episode of Archer. There's a guy that's named Benoit, and every time he says his name, Archer goes balls at the end.
Okay.
And so I've watched that episode a couple of times, and I've no fucking idea what the reference is. And I've assumed Benoit Balls is something filthy.
This song
But,
fucking slaps and is
yeah,
a certified
I
banger.
haven't actually looked it up.
Okay.
Do you know what this white powder is?
No, sir?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. I've never seen him before.
This guy's very polite.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Is that a nasal discharge, sir?
No, it's grease paint. Shake my hand, Benoit.
I don't think that's a good idea, sir.
How come?
Dermatitis.
I don't have dermatitis.
I do.
What does this tool suggest to you?
Isn't that used to snap the patient's ribs when exploring the abdomen?
Oh, wow. Use an automated cuff. Huh. Maybe they didn't have automated cuffs back then. It sounds like it's a newish technology.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
No, sir.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Merlin?
No, sir.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well,
Oh,
keep it
take his
safe
pressure.
until I think of something.
Wait, tell him to do the fucking.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Not me, sir.
Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir. I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, monsieur. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Ooh.
Shut up, Benoit.
I mean, we didn't think of that.
Hey.
See you later.
Right.
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just
That's a
the
different
man.
sound booth.
You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
trust you to look after him?
Oh, we take him up there.
He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Cool. All right, so he'll follow us.
Be back in a sec. Just grab some ice cream.
Okay. Nice.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Oh, cool. It's doing that now. That's good.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I don't recognize it.
The sort of not the collector, but like the like I kind of like to scrub everything off before I leave. I guess it's like an OCD kind of thing. So I'll go
Is this
through it,
plaster
even
any
though
use
I've
to
read
you?
it already.
No, it isn't.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
Would you like to shake hands with me?
Well,
No, it's okay. Forget it. Does this mean anything to you?
the Club Alamut? I've never heard of it.
Oh,
Do you know Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No, I don't.
I'm just clearing out these before we go.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
It's beautiful, but I've never seen it before.
All right.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
No, we
Hi,
don't talk to him.
it's me
We just
again.
keep going.
I'll come back later.
Yeah, I thought I could say, "Oh, my good Benoit man will take care of it." Come hither, Benoit.
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Okay, we'll talk to this guy and say,
Hey,
Yeah,
Benoit!
talk to him first.
Yes, sir?
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Nurse Grendel.
Huh?
Go on, she'll enjoy it.
Well, okay.
Dr. Stobart,
Yeah?
I would appreciate it if you saved your jokes for the intern's restroom.
"What?"
This is a hospital ward, not a cabaret.
Oh, lighten up.
I heard that. Any more nonsense and I shall report you to Dr. Hagenmeyer.
Use it on Eric Sotmarsh.
Okay.
What a stick in the mud she's become.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, now we've got another person to
I'm
convince.
Dr. Stobart.
Like the brother of
Bonjour,
the
docteur.
police guy?
Hmm.
The constable?
Can you think of any sensible use for this
Sensible?
plaster?
Sensible? No. Puerile? Yes. But you've probably thought of those already.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
Do you recognize this red nose?
Don't get cute with me.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
It looks as if it has been used to wipe Satan's bottom.
Gross.
I hate to say it, but you could be right. Would you like to shake hands?
What for?
As a gesture of goodwill.
On reflection? No.
Do you think if a stranger came up to you and said, "Hey, you want to shake my hand," that you would, Steve?
Well, you know something's up.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Branding
I have to be talking to them about some sort of
down.
business and they go, let's shake on it or something then maybe, but
If they didn't say anything, though, and they held out their hand, there's kind of like the social norm and the habit of actually shaking the hand. I wonder if your brain would take over and you'd shake without thinking.
yeah, I guess, because I was just thinking that would usually happen to be like, oh, hey, my name's blah, and you hold out the hand. In the other context, I think you still want it because it'd be weird.
But isn't it weird to say, if someone walked up to you and said, "Hey, my name's Steve," and they put out their hand to shake, like that's an introduction. That's a person being nice.
Mm.
I think the most awkward thing would be not to shake his hand, right? Like you always, I've never not shaken someone's hand when they put a hand out, but you see it in movies and it's always that sort of cringe moment of not shaking someone's hand. I don't know. Weird. I don't know.
You can wave instead. If you just go
Wave.
high and just do a single wave. Yeah.
Or fist bump or do the elbow bump. These days, at least.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds Middle Eastern.
Ah, yeah, the limp handshake. The limp handshakes are reserved for men not knowing how to shake hands with women. It's awkward. You always gotta give it a good clasp. Lisa hates a limp handshake.
Right, so
Are you Thomas Merlin of Gruber
a
Electronics?
lip handshake, is
No.
that just when
Then you won't be needing this.
so it's not grabbing the person's hand properly or something, is it?
Like you clasp hands, but there's no you can't feel any sort of muscle movement in their hand. It's just, you know,
Just
a
hold
good
it there.
handshake is a give and receive. It's a transaction, right? Not a let's just hold hands, because that's holding hands, right? If you're not giving it a good grab and a one up and down, like that's
What if you grab and then you rub your thumb across their wrist a little bit?
yeah,
back and
or
forth a little bit.
the middle finger inside, like you rub their palm with your middle finger. But Tongs is correct. That is an 80-20 handshake is a
Where you use all your fingers to tap like a little rhythm on their wrist.
Morse
It's
code.
weird. Or do like a little nanny sort of thing, just like a little.
Shaking hands with a wet hand is also real gross.
Do you recognize this gem?
It isn't an emerald, is it?
The thing,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't actually know if I've got a limp handshake or not. These muscles I don't really clasp that hard, but one thing I do always do is the missed handshake.
What do you
I
mean?
do that a lot. When you don't really connect with the hand properly. Like it's too high or too low or too
Oh.
forward or too back.
Never had that happen before.
I watched Penn and Teller in Vegas and they sort of made the crowd afterwards and I was one of the first out. Penn already had a group of people around him, but Teller was talking to someone, like just saying hi to people as they left. And I went out to grab his hand, and I think he's neurodivergent, kind of like I am, but yeah, we both did a missed handshake on each other. It was sort of awkward, but also this weird, like, roughly the same type person.
The recovery for a missed handshake would be like go to poke the eyes like a Three Stooges and put your hand there. Like that's, I don't know, that's the smooth way to recover, I guess. But I don't know. It's like you just look at the hand and then you just shake the hand, right? Like, or are you not looking? You just
That's
sort of,
like saying something that's like, oh, if you throw a ball, or catch a ball, you just put your hand where the ball's going to be.
But like, if there was like a can of Coke on the bench, would you miss the can of Coke grabbing the Coke at times?
No, but I've got all the time to do it at my own pace. With a handshake, you're sort of both moving.
It's like a quick time event in real life.
Yeah.
Just gotta, yeah. Yeah, missing high fives is difficult. The trick to that though is you always look at their elbow and then you'll always hit a high five. I'm not sure about the handshake rule. That's a free tip for
I
you.
remember that, and it's always worked. They probably should tell other people. I've noticed that it's kind of thirds. It's either a third they've never heard it, and they're sort of impressed by it, and they think it's a cool idea, and they try it, and it's like, oh my god, it works. Or it's a third they know it already, or a third they're completely unimpressed, and they think what you just said is stupid.
Reaching forward too aggressively and jamming one of their fingers. Oh yeah, if you sort of went like this and like hit in the middle, that'd be weird. But then you'd have to turn it into, that like this maneuver, you'd have to do that with them. That would be cool. That'd be a really cool handshake if you could manage to accidentally miss the handshake and go into the little birdies. Yeah.
I like the idea of the old-fashioned handshakes where we used to grab each other's wrists. I think that would still be much better to do than hands.
Grabbing the wrists like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way you'd hold it, and part of it is a trust thing of like, it's the way you'd hold someone's hand if they were falling. It's like, I got you. Yeah.
Let's coin the phrase that is now called the cliffhanger. Does that make sense? Exactly what you said? Yeah.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How was the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No,
I know
but
what a
it's
homburg
pretty
is.
weird for a bear.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that is the case, Tongs. And then you also there's many factors to it, right? You either handshake or you do the hug. That's the first obstacle, the critical path choice. And then are you just hugging or are you giving them a kiss on the cheek as well at the same time? Like that's the second decision. But if you're doing the handshake, you need to actually give it it's a transaction, 50-50.
Have you heard of a guy
I actually
called
do the high
Marquet?
wave with
He's in quarantine, Doc. Right
most
behind
women.
this ear door.
Like if there's a
Marquet
separation and most people are
is
hugging
just the
them,
man I
and
wanted
I'll
to
just do the
see.
wave
I wouldn't go in there if I was you.
rather than work out whether to do a handshake or whether to do a hug.
I do that in large groups. Like if you're at a party and you want to get the hell out of here and there are people around the room and you know that you're going to have to do a rigmarole of going through and basically say goodbye to everyone and take 40 minutes, you just stand as far back as you can and then do the wave. Always offer the handshake. Yeah, I guess you can't go wrong there, Tongs.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, Doc.
Ooh, this is a bit worse for wear.
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lahmar gem.
Oh.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the...
He was the guy that...
Finish him!
He's a good guy, I think.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grand Master.
Oh, maybe I don't know then.
Quickly, tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet. Come here! It's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear
Did he
that...
assassin?
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
Sweet.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right.
Disguised as a
Doctor's in there
doctor.
with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
Dr. Ackett.
There's no
But
Dr.
he's got the day off.
Braille working here.
He's an imposter. The door's
See,
locked.
told ya.
Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
Kick it down in one go. Oh, you didn't shoot it. Jesus, in a hospital. Back at Nico's, huh?
Hello, George.
Hello. How about this tissue?
That is not a good idea.
Fatality.
It's like, it's been a while. How about we shake hands?
Hey, Nico, shake hands with me.
No chance, Buster.
I showed you the red nose, didn't I?
Yes.
The thing with the I was talking about shaking hands to start with is the thing is the one time I had a electric buzzer, there's no way you could trick someone with it. It's so obvious when it's in your hand.
Mm.
Do you want this photograph back?
No,
Look at this
you keep
photograph.
it. I can always make another print.
That is not a good idea.
It's funny, no one in Paris wants this plaster of Paris.
This is the tool I used to get into the sewers.
Yes, you showed me before.
Did I show you this matchbook?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
I didn't even, that didn't even do anything.
Yeah, the most of us have shown them
That is
to her
not
already.
a good idea.
But
Do you
what?
want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
Yeah, she is.
Let's take another
Oh
look at the
shit, I
manuscript.
did the wrong one. Now we have to go through this again.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. A knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin.
Rule number
Through
2.
my teachings, you will be enlightened.
If I go to click on this scroll, say, oi, don't.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
It's always funny when Americans write people who aren't Americans using Americanisms. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's a woman looking at her
Be like,
reflection in a mirror,
"It is
but
just
the
like
reflection
Mrs.
has
Parade."
3 hideous faces.
Oh wow, Artie Fine is in the house. Alright, 1 second.
There is no basement in the Alamo.
Oop. Oop. This. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Okay. And then the center.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
Was
That's
a doctor.
despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Oh, that's cool.
Crazy eyes with a knife.
Have you ever heard of the Hashi Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again.
You know what's on the flip side of that that's kind of annoying is when you have Americans writing Americanisms but broken Americanisms. So you have someone that's foreign trying to repeat their Americanism back, but they get like one word wrong, and then that's the gag. It's like lazy as hell.
Yeah, or that's
Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
Sci-fis do that
I don't think so.
a lot. Like, that's like
He
your
could
F
have finished him off the
expression.
first time. Besides, Marquet would have
and that'll just be,
recognized him.
like,
He was pumped to the
modified.
gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Go on, sorry, Steve. You started talking too much.
That's what, the other one is the other place that's done a lot is sci-fi, where it's like, oh, it's like not necessarily Americanism, but like an Earth expression. They sort of get it completely wrong, and that's the joke over and over again.
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one? Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Who's Andre now?
Not sure. Do you have any writing? Because that note thing popped up. Maybe should take a quick look. So.
Oh, we also forgot the pictures we were going to do last time. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the 2 thugs from the hotel were trying to steal the tripod. He also mentioned someone called Klausner, who was an assassin that may have followed this area. Okay. Do you think that the Templars may be Merlin and the Doctor? And this Klausner fellow?
I'm not sure. It's hard to tell if they're like active still or whether it's just this is what we're investigating is because it's the Templar's treasure. There's one episode. Because I'm watching episodes of Babylon 5 with my dad, and there's one episode that was kind of funny because it's kind of a spin on it, but it's like the alien, like, is telling his assistant because he knows there's an assassin after him, and the assistant's new and he's suspecting her, and then he goes, he asks her to do something, and she goes, "Why do you trust me all of a sudden?" And he goes, "It's not that I trust you, it's the humans have a saying, it's keep your enemies close, keep your friends close and your enemies closer." And he thinks for a bit and he goes, "That's pretty good, they must have stolen it from us." And
Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Remember these?
so that's, I think we took a look at last time before logging off, I think.
We only went in here and then we'd said we'll look at it next time, and we didn't, so we'll do it now.
Yep. So this is
I fell in
Nico.
love with photography on my 12th birthday. Papa had bought me a camera. We were on vacation, just the 2 of us. It was my last summer as a child. Papa told me how proud he was of me, how beautiful I looked. Okay. This one? And then the summer was over. Papa had to leave. He had no idea what was about to happen. No fear for the future. No warning. Oh, some shit's gonna happen. Okay. That's locked off. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm guessing we have to now talk to the goons, maybe? But I'm going to quickly go to the cafe because it's still here for some reason. Okay. Guess not. We talk to this chap. Where was it? Through here.
Hi there, remember me?
Ah, mais oui, Inspector. Have you found him?
Who?
the man in the sewer, of course.
I'm, sifting through the evidence.
This voice actor is
rather
basically
you than
every
me,
other
monsieur.
person.
So, when you are not exploring sewers, what do you do?
I take a lot of showers.
Oh, very good, monsieur. A policeman with a sense of humor.
What do you think someone who has an American accent in Paris is a policeman?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi there, remember me?
Ah, mais oui.
Who?
The man.
I'm,
Rather you than me, monsieur. So, when you are not exploring sewers, what do you do?
I take a lot of showers.
Oh, very good, monsieur.
Okay, that's enough of that. Special Agent George. Alright, I guess we can... We may have to go back here later, but... It's this one. Okay.
Hello, George.
Oh, that was the apartment. Oh, let's click on this guy.
Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd
Just trying to
introduced
think
themselves.
who Marquet was. I originally thought he was the dude that was doing the dig in Ireland, like to get the gem. I don't know.
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rosso or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
I don't know who Andre is still. She's referring to the cops. Let's go speak to the cops.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
I love the name Sergeant Moo, though. It's a good one.
That is not a good idea. I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through...
Could you describe the suspect?
One looked like their names...
Looks like we're going to go talk to old mates, Weasel and
See you later,
Gorilla.
Sergeant.
So it's the person, Professor Pegram entrusted the gem to him, according to it's the person we found out while talking to those 2 guys in the pub in Ireland, and he's the guy that was entrusted with the gem.
Okay, so it was the guy I was thinking about then. So he was like the boss of the guy that got hit by the car?
I thought that guy looked different though.
Ooh,
Maybe it was.
Got a new guy here.
Well, it says he's beaten by the assassin.
I beg your pardon. Are
this
you
guy?
Andre Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
Ah,
no,
this is the weirdo.
I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart.
Oh, makes
I'd
sense.
like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Last episode, Nico had said that this dude would meet me. But we'd forgotten all about that because it wasn't actually mentioned this episode at all.
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No.
Looks like the type of guy that would have just done a key bump right there and then.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Do you think these symbols here, like in the M-rated version, it's just the marijuana?
Oh yeah, they were supposed to be marijuana leaves and they're being converted.
Yeah.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Oh, we're gonna shock him if we can.
Take a look at this nose, Lobineau.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
Georgie, hello.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
Ah.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
Roadworks, my friend.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not
Iran.
too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
What do you make of this ID card?
Nothing.
Good old Rams.
That is not a good idea. What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar
Oh, it's
site,
Pegram
isn't
that
he?
I'm thinking of then.
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter.
I'm confused now.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
We didn't see that, George. I don't know what you're referring to. I tell you, one time when I was in Paris, Lisa and I were in line to go up to the Eiffel Tower, and line's pretty big-ish. And there was a sign that said WC toilet to go to the toilet, right? And there was an American lady tourist. She was like, I don't know, 60 or something. Loudest voice you'd ever hear go, "What does WC toilet mean?" And it was just like, Le WC? Yeah, exactly.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval
we didn't steal that thing in the end.
Vraiment? No. Do you have it with you?
No, it's
We
too
had it up on
fragile.
stage.
And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
Too bad you're not going to see it.
The
That's
manuscript
the
is being
there.
looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
Yeah.
This friend who has the manuscript,
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361
What?
Rue
Wait,
Jarry.
what?
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop
George.
by.
You just doxed her.
Just as soon as I can.
What are you doing, George? This could be Merlin in disguise for all we know.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars
Says Georgie
get their
like
name?
From
Pennywise
the
in the
building in which
original
they set up their headquarters.
miniseries.
The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
It's going to make it unfortunate when we steal it and put it in
radical
our
Muslim sect
second
whose
pocket.
name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language. Assassini, the assassins.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
Might be
I haven't
good because it'd be
finished the
real
story.
Turkish delight.
There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Interesting.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
Okay.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
A large part of me wants to go straight to Nico's house to protect her from this dude because we've just doxed her. I want to do this. And then... Okay. Yeah.
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobino.
Yes.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Cool. Do we wobble this?
Quit fooling around, you moron.
Knock 'em down.
Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Do it.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Oh,
What? Hang on. Who's this? It's Elaine Marley.
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
oh, what's that?
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
Damn straight we do. Good work. Now we're going to tell her that we gave the address.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all.
Oh.
It was lovely to see him again.
I was
He
thinking
was
that
over the moon
she's the
when
one
I
that
showed
was
him
in
the
contact, right?
manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
Okay.
I have to look at it again.
Oh yeah, I know I said the rule to warn me not to click on it, but I guess we have to.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Okay.
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight's scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
So nothing new then.
There's a guy working on a loom.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse.
Okay.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Oh. Alright, let's see what we've got. Oh, next page. Was hindered by the shoddy totem pole. Figure swooped it out. Master Savior was Nico. Job, got the tripod, and I found the gem. Next move is to head to the site of Montfaucon. Let's see if I can figure out what to do with them. Okay. There it is. Sweet. Alright, let me save it. Alright.
Excuse me, officer. Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually
100% certified got 'em.
Hello, the paperwork. You have no idea.
Have you guys seen the cartoon Count Duckula? Because a lot of these accents sound like that, I reckon.
Reminds me of Woodhouse from Archer.
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Aha! A prosthetic nose. Very significant.
It is?
No, I am just having a little joke.
What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
That's a good response.
It is.
Would you like to shake? I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
That's not actually
You know what this is?
electrocuting him.
It's a sewer key.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern.
Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician.
What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod. What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
Okay.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Oh,
This board?
they're behind the
Shouldn't
clown,
you
I
be off
guess.
directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
Guess later we might need to put it somewhere and to
I had
like
no
use
desire to
tripod
talk to
with
the crowd.
Yeah.
platform and then use gem with tripod.
We got a sewer grate though.
Yeah, juggler, that's worrisome. What if he's there to kill
Hey,
someone?
you with the balls.
Oui?
That doesn't look
Does
like
this
him.
plaster interest you?
Well,
Forget it. Forget that I asked. Have you seen this man before?
no.
Look, a red nose.
Oh, you say, whoop-de-doo.
Does this grease paint mean anything to you?
It looks like one of mine, or at least another jongleur.
Or a clown?
Mais naturellement, a clown.
Hardly a breakthrough.
That's the same voice from before.
It didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands. This gadget is
Doesn't
a
do
sewer
any
key.
damage.
I do not want it. Thank you.
Well, I'm not selling it. I just wanted your opinion.
It is hardly my area of expertise.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
You smoke.
No, I don't.
In that case, it means nothing to me.
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
You work in a lab.
No, try again.
You steal lab passes?
No. Well, not as a habit. This was a special case. What do you think of this?
It is a medical device, oui?
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable. Is it real?
I think so.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
I've got a medieval tripod.
And my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crownheads of Europe and the jongleurs, witty,
Can you
erudite
juggle,
men
Steve?
to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Last I learned is to juggle two balls.
Our enemies were at the
Instead, got a, one of those like
plague
juggling
ravages
things
the
where you got
land,
three
and the peasants are
properly
revolting.
like balanced
Thank
size
God
balls.
we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw
Reckon I'd
balls
ever do
around.
too.
I don't think so.
What about you?
No, not at all. Not at all. What about you, chat? Any of you can juggle?
That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an
Thanks for
idiot,
the
so how
follow,
difficult
friend.
could it
It
be?
means a lot.
Lena, thank you so
A
much
lot
for the
more
raid.
difficult than
Good
I
to see
thought.
you.
That's
Welcome in,
difficult.
everyone.
Yo, Baltimore. It's a raid. How cool is that?
Still, it was
Welcome
my
in
big
I was
everyone.
actually about
We're
to
excited to
Cactus
have you.
Crawford because I thought it was a
Not so easy after
the way
all.
the text looks. I thought it was a
No, I guess not.
buy followers thing.
Discord me your toes.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah, you've been
that
playing that
was
a lot.
pretty good, Tim. That was
Makes me
pretty
want to
good.
get back into it.
Should be. You know that.
Everyone, this is Broken Sword. It is a point-and-click adventure game. We do midweek point-and-click on Thursday nights, Wednesday for Americans. And basically what we do, go through adventure games. And this is probably our, our 7th, maybe, Steve? Something like that?
We've done way more than that.
Way more than that, you reckon, than 7?
Yeah, 2 Monkey Islands, Full Throttle, Dig. LucasArts alone, we might be on this. We've had maybe 7.
Has been a while. But
And this game has a killer that's dressed each kill is dressed as a different costume, including a clown and a mime. And we're hoping this person isn't the killer, but he doesn't seem to look like it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
But the
Hi
juggling
again.
is very suspicious.
Oui?
Oh, sorry, juggler,
What is it this
not a
time?
juggler.
Jongleur?
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
But he's got a red nose as well.
Be a much better jongleur.
And he
For a
sees that and
moment,
goes,
the
oh, it's a
idea
clown.
capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it.
Okay, let's ask the Jongleur about the Templars then.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques Dumoulin, was burned
What's the...
on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow, you're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Everyone's just
Okay.
reading that board.
Yeah, the second
Catch you
person
later.
said that.
Au revoir, monsieur.
But there was a reference to a Grandmaster before. Because that was who the guy that died, the last guy that died.
Mm.
God, that name's difficult to remember. Last guy that died, he was going to talk to the Grandmaster or try to pass the gem to the Grandmaster.
I think so, yeah.
So that suggests the Templars might still be
Hey.
running.
Hey, you!
Oh, damn.
What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone. Now,
Sorry, no harm intended.
you stay away from that.
And we've been carrying that manhole cover remover for pretty much most of the game.
Yep, that and the filthy tissue.
Yeah, we got a greasy tissue that we got from a sewer too.
Oh, we can probably pray. Let me quickly save it here. War Master. Why not?
I didn't
Even though we're
manage to
saving it,
sit
it's
around.
actually pretty good with so far it hasn't killed us, has it?
Not yet. I know there's definitely one death in this game that I'm going to make happen. Well, it's probably not even going to be my choice because I remember on PlayStation 1 and originally the mouse cursor moved too slow, so I constantly got killed.
Okay.
It's like a reactionary thing you need to do.
Why is everyone dying on me?
Bloody fine. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
A knight there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Remember when I visited, there was went to Notre Dame. It's like, oh, it's nice to finally see this thing you keep hearing about. And there's a chapel next to it, and it's like, oh, I'll visit this one. It's something on some sort of church thing I'd read. It's like, oh, I should visit this. And I went in, and initially looked like a standard church. It's like, oh yeah, like probably impressive the first time, but I'd been going for Europe, so I'd seen a fair bit of churches and chapels. And I was about to leave, and I've gone, oh, there's the circular steps going upstairs, and there's something up there. So it's like, oh, I'll take a look at that, and then I'll head out. And what I hadn't seen or noticed on the way there is that they'd done this project to actually restore the LED lighting.
Oh,
And
so did you go
so
into like
I got it the first, and it was one of those little, like, you step, like when you hear about in stories, someone stepping out and their breath being taken away. It's literally that. I didn't know how pretty those things work. So I'd used to LED lights, but didn't know how pretty this thing would be. And the sun was right on it, and it's just this beautiful mix of colors, and yeah.
changed your life.
Yeah.
I was expecting the story to go a different way, where you go up and you actually found yourself in a restricted area because it wasn't finished.
Oh yeah. Nah. Because it's on the way out that I've gone, oh, that's... Because initially I thought, oh, it's pretty cool, well done, and then I realised a lot of them probably were like that back in the day, but because when I left, they had the... It's like a year or 2 year long project to restore all the LED lighting with a special technique.
This looks like it's going to be a puzzle.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell.
Right.
Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
It'll be like a Raiders of the Lost Ark thing with that staff and the crystal we've got and the tripod.
Yeah, possibly.
Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor.
I think we might have to get rid of this religious fellow, though. These probably say something as well, though.
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
Indeed.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat.
One of the places I went in Scotland was this famous battleground between the who was it? The Picts, I think they are. It was really surreal walking across, knowing that like 7,000 people were killed.
Mm.
Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
And it was weird because in the battleground, like, they would send clans out, so that's how you didn't have, like, I don't know, like archers here, axemen here, swordsmen here. It was like literal families. So like the clans were sent to different areas, and if they fell because they couldn't beat, they'd just wipe out your whole family. Like the whole line is just gone, rather than spreading it out. It's so strange.
I was in Ireland recently, and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
I'm not sure. What's a shillelagh?
That's an Irish thing. It's like a knobbled stick. I think it's how the
Have
old
you seen this man before?
Irish religious technique
No,
fits.
I have never seen him before.
I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
With your name on it.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
Let's do it.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest. I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
No way. Maybe not.
I'm thinking maybe your story about the stained glass and the light shining through, maybe what we need to
What
do
do you think
with
of
job
this?
too.
A precious sleeve and valve? What should I think?
Never mind. How about this for a gem?
It is very beautiful, monsieur. And yet, I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
Probably a blood diamond.
I've got a medieval tripod.
Monsieur, you are a walking treasure house.
Okay.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that.
Vatican was fun to go visit. Liked it a lot.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
One thing, Raid, is that you'll find about this is the audio work is all over the place. Sometimes it sounds like it's in a sound booth. Sometimes it sounds like it's in a public train station. Like there's no method.
Well, nothing about that, but it sounds like there's multiple sound booths that have done this in, rather than actually going to a sound studio.
The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
So shillelagh is Gaelic for a thonged willow. It's a wooden walking stick and club or cudgel, typically made from stout, nutty blackthorn stick with a large knob at the top. It is associated with Ireland and Irish folklore.
I wonder if we can... I'm going to left click. That's what we always...
Yeah.
I could see that what had at first seemed to be a fine engraved chasing on the scroll was actually writing. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. Sounds pretty familiar to me.
Okay.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it.
Okay. Can we use this on it? Can we use this on it? This one's going to be difficult, I think. Anything else we can interact with? This looks out of place.
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. I didn't have time to sit around.
And also, if you guys have played this before, I mean, chances are very slim, but if you have, like, I don't mind backseating. That's totally cool as well.
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies.
George.
Whoa!
What the hell was that? Was that you that said that, Steve?
That was him.
That didn't make...
Is he automatically walking, or is...
No, that was me walking, but the woe. Was the woe you? Or was him the woe?
No, it's him.
It just didn't make sense. It was like the goat noise again. Exactly, Psyche.
seemed to animate when he said it. Like he just suddenly did a whoa and then started walking.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
He recognizes the text.
Per disciplinum meum lux videbus.
Something about playing a video?
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow.
There we go.
Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary. Had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
There's pointing at his foot. An orb and a foot.
I didn't recognize the biblical story.
And look at it again.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I
There's
was a
just like an
Sunday
Indiana
school
Jones
dropout.
thing where it's like
Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. A bit of a stained glass window.
so he's fingering that thing
Hoping
and then
for a
pointing
big
at his foot.
insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary. Had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
Surely we can't use the gem on this to use it's kind of like a... No. Is there more than one? There's only one, there's this window.
Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor.
Maybe we go back to Nico and just throw some options because she might know the quote. Because the reason I think of Nico is because of the quote, the way he goes, that sounds familiar. Might be something where we need to talk to her to jog our memory.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think it's because I don't recognize it, so it's not the same as the one on the manuscript.
That was that way. Is that it's the same place? Yes.
We could try it.
Let me quickly talk to this guy again.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one.
Hey-o.
Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing and not a humiliation for
I feel we need to
you.
get rid of him too.
What do you mean?
Whoever heard of a plainclothes clown?
In the
He had a
club.
point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur. You have it.
What if
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
Yeah, 'cause we need
I'll
to
be there.
either distract him or have anything for the to get to the sewer. I don't even know why we want to go into the sewer, but it seems like it. Eventually.
The nose was hollow. Printed on the inside were the words La Risée du Monde, Paris. It was a bright red plastic nose, part of a clown's costume.
So we go back to Rougerie.
Hello, Georges.
No.
Shit. We're probably
I
going to
thought this
have to.
time-
Maybe there's the Latin on this.
And see if the guy that is in that scroll is on it.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
So I was suspecting this manuscript is mapping parts of what we need to do. So we've done the top left, which is the crystal and the tripod. And I'm showing all of those we need to do over time.
I mean,
But
that
I
could,
can't see the guy.
yeah, it could be right. The sequel to this game is called The Smoky Mirror, so maybe, I don't know, actually.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
So this would be the rays coming into it.
Oh, so it might have something to do with the staff.
The staff.
Because the stuff in the church that I started suspecting might be the Raise the Lost Ark style stuff that lights the way.
Yeah. This one here had some Latin, so maybe this could be
A
some...
knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, You will be
I just say
enlightened.
it. That's why I didn't recognize it. But I assume it's not the same.
A knight with the knights through my...
Okay.
There's a guy working on a loom. There's a woman, but the reflect...
Okay, so we don't...
I'd better get back to the quest.
Alright. What do we have? Can't go overseas. The cafe, no. Rougerie, no. Police, maybe. Hospital's now blurred out. Let's go back here. Old mate's here, so maybe he'll know.
Hi, Andre.
And
Hello,
he's got the
Georgie.
tripod that they're
I
missing in our
visited
pocket.
Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't show him that.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
That's a good way of putting it.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie.
Yay.
He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
What did you write? Anything? Okay. Nope. Alright, so go to the police quick, and then we know that everything is locked behind that new place.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
No way.
It's gonna be the same thing, probably.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yeah.
Yes, monsieur?
I'm the victim.
I see.
Oh, it's on this
Outside the
one.
hotel, they stopped me.
Could you describe?
One looked like their names are...
No.
Interesting, because we actually saw them break in to steal the tripod,
See you later, Sergeant.
but he doesn't mention
Yeah.
it. Oh, but I
Unless
guess...
they've taken a statement for that, I assume.
Yeah.
It's sort of had a time skip over when we would have told them about that.
I think maybe we have to juggle again. That seems like the fact that we were able to juggle earlier.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui,
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques du Molay, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow, you're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Okay, I guess we haven't actually... Oh, these two are back.
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The
Okay.
balls, please.
If you insist
Oh,
on
'cause the
completing
cop told
your
us about-
humiliation, monsieur.
Yeah.
Juggling badly with the nose.
Okay,
Now for my secret weapon. The juggler was speechless with rage.
Drop that.
You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
Nice. Oh.
Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Ooh, there we go. Now we can go into the sewer and collect more tissues.
Go sewer diving. Very easily entertained audience
In
as well.
French, English, and German, it read, in 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the Knightly Order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine.
Alright, time to get out the big guns. Ooh, look at the little boat. I remember the slide puzzle from the very start of the game.
If I wanted to get deeper into these catacombs,
The two ones on the side of the
I was
gates.
going to have to get onto that path. If the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily.
How are we going to do this puzzle without a bullet casing?
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
Ooh, the hanged man. Okay, let's go back quickly. Because we didn't click on the boat yet.
It's like it's got like a heavy caliber gun on it. Oh, it's the thingamajig.
Oh, can we...
The hook lay in a bed of chain. The hook lay in a bed of chain.
Yeah, but...
Maybe retract it.
Nope. Let's go this way. Let's check this out. Big skull on the door.
Hmm.
Maybe it leads down to the catacombs.
I pushed against the door, but it
It
seemed
leads
to be
to
locked.
like a... It's where the local Warhammer club meets for their
Yeah.
late nights, like board gaming.
Does look like a tarot card, you're right. Oh, hang on.
Rats. It's locked.
Didn't left click. I wonder if we have to hook the chain into there. Maybe. Alright. Nothing else to click on.
The wall had flaked. The wall seemed... The inscription was undecipherable. I wondered what...
If we can use old mate.
It was time for some brutal
Yes!
destruction. Hey! That's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it.
Let's pull it.
Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap. I'd pulled the lever right over. I'd pulled...
Oh, there we go. Pick it up now. That is, yeah, I would say ahistorical because you'd normally use an in front of a vowel, but maybe the French would go historical, like they wouldn't pronounce the H, maybe.
I think it's because the H, like it's not like a hard consonant, so you sort of go into historical on the I. There's like a little bit of a H, but because it's more like people do what feels more natural, that's why you do an. So it's because you sort of start saying historical.
I guess
you're already high, so you go and, so you can go low then high again.
There's also psycho, like we say herb, we actually pronounce the H, but then some Americans, I'd say it says herb. So would you say an herb? I would say a herb.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower.
South African.
We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over
It's the moment the
and
writer can
planning
just
in
get a
all the
bunch of
major
political stuff off
governments.
their chest.
They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
Name of the game.
And that's an example of the different sound booths as well.
Our search is as a corollary hindered. And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of the
Wow,
forest.
who's the dude in the hotel?
I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out
Oh yeah,
that
the Nobel Peace Prize
I
winner.
trust these historians and archaeologists
And that's the doctor.
are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
So you all.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword,
and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results. Not petty bickering. Not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Malice.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Come on, George.
Marquet was a liability.
A bit slow.
Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princess of this world!
Wow.
Okay.
Like circle of secret society people like that just reminds me of Hot Fuzz when I saw it.
Yeah. Okay, Gate crashed a meeting about influential. Yep, big boss. They called the Grandmaster. Broken sword. Name of the game. Bolsner, something important. He's vanished to Syria. Megalomaniacs, New World Order. Yep, pretty much. Okay, go down. Oh, we put the tripod on there, maybe. Uh-oh.
Looks like it. Definitely. It's the 3 spots.
There was a large circle marked out on the floor with a stump in the middle. Around the circle, I could see words inlaid into the stone. On the circle's circumference were the Templar seal and 2 Latin phrases, Non omnis moriar and Clarior e tenebris. I shall not die completely, the brighter from the darkness.
Okay. Yay!
The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump. I couldn't do that.
Why not?
The light, falling from above, struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays. And each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
Yeah. Progress.
Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet.
That's
the manuscript
Simon
is
in
the key,
Final
just as we
Fantasy VII.
thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, How do they hope to find the
This was the
source?
assassin of
I don't
Luca.
know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria.
If he is, then
but they didn't
he's separate
seem
from
to
the
realize
Hashishim.
the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay, what about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
No
So
way.
dangerous. Actually, I better hold on to the gem just in case something happens.
Split up the things is probably a good idea, though. But then I guess we've got the clue of what we need.
Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What business is it of yours?
True.
We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
Alright, we're not looking at this again, guys. We're not doing it. Every time we click on it, we get locked in.
But what if?
Don't. Because I'll click it.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
It's not that far. Okay, it's pretty far.
Yeah.
Oh, we can go to Spain as well? Interesting.
So they're going to Syria, but they don't know the city. They don't know the town. They just know the country. They don't just know it's somewhere in ancient Persia. But they, yeah, is that right? They don't know the town.
Yeah, they wouldn't know the town because they
So
didn't
we
have
just
the
know it.
goodies.
Yeah.
But then if what's his face, if Merlin is part of the Kashashim or whatever it is, he's from Syria anyway, right? So
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense why he's going out to kill the Templars, is to keep them away from coming to Syria, maybe. Do we go to Spain or do we go to Syria?
I mean, I know it doesn't matter, but in terms of just role playing, I'd go to Syria because that seems the time critical thing, even though it won't be actual time critical. It would just be an point and click thing.
A few hours later. Sweet.
I was pretty quick to travel that far.
So we'll save it. And not only will we save it, but I reckon we might call it there. We made huge progress. Confirm. Done. Saved. Awesome. Well, as always, good episode. Good to see you all. Thanks for hanging out and playing and going on this Templar adventure. Thank you so much, Queen, for the follow. You've actually done something very special. You've clicked me over to 150 followers. I really appreciate it. All right, let's see if there's anyone online that we can raid. Yeah. All right, let's Thank you. Let's raid Rad Shaz. He is an Australian speedrunner of Resident Evil, and he's a cool dude. He's in a metal band and all that jazz.
Thanks, everyone.
Locking you into that raid. But yeah, let's see. Going forward, it's a long weekend here, so I might do a couple of streams. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Not sure what will happen, but we'll continue found footage. We were in the Middle East and we were trapped down into this caves. We've killed off a few people. That'll be some good times. Yeah, cool. All right, guys, sending you over now. Until next time.